What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
UFC Fight Night, Joanna versus Waterson just happened this past October 12th, Saturday, from Tampa, Florida. Joanna kind of on a little skid from losing the belt to Rose, was it like a year ago? Maybe 2 years ago, close to. She tried to go to 125 to try and win the belt there. Didn't work out. Just had some problems. And leading into this, there were news that she might not make weight, which she's had trouble with in the past. And she made weight. The fight was great. She had a dominant performance against Waterson. I was kind of thinking this was Michelle Waterson's time. She's been on a run, and Joanna's been on a skid. And the one thing with Joanna that made me think she wasn't going to look good is that she didn't really take ownership of her losses. She seemed to point the finger and blame other people for her inability to win in past fights or make weight, or having problems making weight. So usually when people are making excuses for not being, not taking ownership for their own career, it's tough for them to kind of make a turnaround. James Vick? Yeah, James Vick was similar. He's been knocked out similar ways. He came in, said he was definitely looked better. He wasn't keeping his chin up when he was backing off. He kept his hands up, just better overall look. But Nico Price is just crazy. That up kick to knock him out was insane. And of course, Cub Swanson versus Crone Gracie was the co-main event. Just a great war, which Cub has been in, I would say, too many of those. But a great game plan for Cub, kept it on the feet. In the second and then third round, there was a little bit more time spent in the clinch. But the fight never, the times Crone tried to pull guard, he was never really able to do anything. There was a moment where Cub was in his guard, but was able to get up and out. Crone just needs to learn how to do takedowns. Like, if you're a jiu-jitsu master, like if you come from a long lineage of jiu-jitsu guys, then you should be like thinking of all of the different ways to get somebody to the ground, which would all be wrestling. Like, he shouldn't, like, striking, whatever, but like he should be training with wrestlers on how to chain some takedowns and get the fight to where he's most dominant. And Cub exposed that. Cub showed that Crone has zero wrestling. And his boxing's gotten better. He's pieced up Swanson a little bit. Swanson didn't come out unscathed, but it was definitely a complete domination from round 1 to round 3 for Cub. So great win for Cub. Interesting to see who he fights next. The featherweight division is pretty stacked, but yeah, good win for him. Good win for Nico Price. Overall, the fights were good. Mackenzie Dern got destroyed. Went to a decision, but it was basically a striking match. She did have some moments. She was put on her back. She was able to throw up some stuff. She's obviously good at jiu-jitsu, but she actually physically looked more in shape than she ever has, coming in like 4 months after having a kid. But yeah, I don't know. Mackenzie Dern in general is it's a very complicated to be a fan of somebody who's who's kind of culturally appropriated Brazil in a way that very Rachel Dolezal-esque, where she's like, I think she's originally from the Midwest, Mackenzie Dern, but she trained in Brazil, and there's videos you can watch on YouTube of this evolution, but she went from speaking perfect English. She grew up in the Midwest, so, whatever. Somewhere. She grew up in the United States and spoke perfect English, just like a normal American person would who grew up here. But then she moved to Brazil, and now she speaks with like a broken Portuguese. accent. Like, she even acts like she forgets words, like English words. It is the most, I mean, it's pretty, like, this is not, it's amazing that she is getting away with it to this point. I would imagine if she gains some success in the UFC, like if she ever wins a belt, that would probably be one of the first kind of things that she's going to have to deal with, is the fact that she's fake Brazilian, and she speaks perfect English but does the broken Portuguese accent. It's very racist. Like, if somebody was doing that with like a Chinese accent, they would be like, imagine, it's weird that like white chicks are, like Madonna did it with the English accent. She was like British for a while after she moved there. Then you have Rachel Dolezal. Obviously, she wasn't like speaking any Ebonics or anything, but she definitely physically tried to get as dark as possible and kind of accentuate any kind of African American traits that she could. And this is no different, and it's mind-boggling. But she didn't win the fight. Ribas won the fight. It was a good win, good fight overall. Matt Frivola versus Luis Pena was good. Eric Anders looked good against Mershart. It was a close fight. Mershart kind of came back. Span looked good. I mean, Span actually didn't look good. Span looked like he was taking some time. There was a horrible decision. Was it Andrew Sanchez, I think? The violent Bob Ross should have won his fight. I don't understand what happened there, but should have won it for sure. But overall, it was a fun night of fights from Tampa, Florida. But moving on to next Saturday, some fights from Boston, October 18th, UFC on ESPN, Reyes versus Weidman. Chris Weidman is making his light heavyweight debut against Dominic Reyes. Reyes, up-and-comer. Excited to see his fight. I would not be surprised to see Weidman lose this fight, just because he's had some trouble at the lower weight class, and I don't know if it's going to be able to help him out being at a higher weight class. But that's the main event for some reason. Then the co-main is Yair Rodriguez versus Jeremy Stephens, which, of course, we almost saw a 5-round version of this fight, but it was stopped early with the eye poke. I don't understand why that's not a 5-round fight, but excited to see that fight. Greg Hardy is fighting again against some unknown guy. Joe Lozon is back against some unknown. Jonathan Pierce. Macy Barber versus Jillian Robertson should be good. Darren Stewart versus Deron Wynn. Just Molly McCann. She's fun. Court McGee. He's a way undercard. Hopefully he gets some wins. Daniel Spitz. Should be a fun card, though, from Boston. It's a ESPN 2 card, so I'm going to have to finagle some VPNs to be able to watch this because I don't have cable, and it's not broadcast on ESPN+. So, it is what it is. But looking forward to the main card. I'm sure at least some interesting fights. Interesting to see how Greg Hardy looks. Again, I mean, it'd be nice to see them put him against somebody that can give him some a challenge, some kind of challenge. But we'll see. And hopefully Yair Rodriguez versus Jeremy Stephens turns into fight of the year. Wish that was a 5-round fight, but what are you going to do? And hopefully the Chris Weidman fight against Dominic Reyes is good. Chris Weidman has been he's looked good in his last fights. Just he seems to lose it all in the 3rd round. He loses it late in the fight and gets caught with something. And we'll see if that happens again. But I wouldn't be surprised if Dominic Reyes gets a win on this one. But looking forward to the fight next Saturday, October 18th from Boston, Massachusetts on ESPN+. But that is it for this episode of The Ray Taylor Show. New episodes come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my original artwork over at inspireddisorder.com and save 25% when you use coupon code RTS. Follow me on social media at Ray Taylor. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!